A very good morning to all those present for today's meeting, for today's class. On behalf of Bruham Mumbai Municipal Corporation Education Department, I am Mrs. Samina Ibrahim Kazi. I welcome you all for the online education. Today I will be delivering the lecture on science part 2. My topic is lesson number 18, that is observing space telescopes. Today we are going to include the topics, subtopics, that is the introduction of the chapter, different forms of light and optical telescope. Sir, I am audible?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Continue.
Yeah.
So, dear students, today we are going to learn the chapter number 18, that is observing space telescopes. I hope that you all may be loving to watch the sky, the beautiful stars, the sun, the moon. Yeah, in the same way, from early days, man has been also curious about the sun, the moon, as well as the stars which are seen in the sky. Okay, it was being very curiosity. There was being a very curiosity in man to watch the sun, the moon, as well as the stars which are seen in the sky. Okay, so these stars, the planets, and the other objects which we see in the sky are known as celestial objects. Okay, what are celestial objects? Celestial objects are those stars, planets, and the other objects which we can see in the sky are known as celestial objects. Okay, then though man has been observing the sky and mapped many stars and planets, astronomy, the branch of science which deals with the study of celestial objects, was greatly developed, and only after the invention of telescope in the 17th century. Okay, as there was a curiosity in man to observe the beautiful stars, the moon, the sun in the sky, there was a need of a branch of science which has to be studied so as to study the celestial objects. So this branch came into existence, that is called as astronomy. Okay, astronomy is the branch of science which deals with the study of the celestial objects. Celestial objects means all those stars, the other objects which we see in the sky are called as celestial objects. So there was the introduction of branch of science called as the astronomy. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about the telescope in detail. So let's proceed. Okay, if we want to observe the different stars and the celestial objects which are seen in the sky, so there was a need of a telescope by which this all objects can be seen clearly. Okay, so it is always been great treat to our eyes to observe the heavenly objects. These heavenly objects have also been studied since ancient times. This gave rise to the branch of science that is called as astronomy. So when we come across astronomy, we come across the words like sky and space. So do you know what is the difference between sky and space? So what is sky? Sky is the visible portion of the atmosphere and outer space seen by simple eyes without any equipment from the earth is known as sky. Okay, you can watch the sky with your naked eye without using any of the instrument. Okay, without using any equipment, you can watch the sky clearly with your naked eye. So this is the visible portion of the atmosphere and outer space seen by our naked eyes without using any equipment. That is called as the sky. Okay, then what do you mean by space? An infinite, limitless, three-dimensional expanse in which the solar system, stars, celestial bodies, galaxies, and endless universe exist is known as space. Okay, what is space? It is infinite. It is not finite. It is infinite, means it is not having any limit. It is beyond the limit. and it is three-dimensional expanse in which there exist the solar system, the stars, celestial bodies, galaxies, and the endless universe. These all things they exist in the space. Okay, so space is very, very huge. It is very expand. Okay, then do you know what is meant by space observation and why is it important? Is it being important to observe the space? Yes, it is important. Why? The study of stars, planets, and celestial bodies and galaxies with the help of appropriate instrument so as to understand its structure and extent is known as space observation. Okay, we learned just now the definition of space. Space is infinite, limitless, three-dimensional expanse in which there is the solar system, the stars, celestial bodies, galaxies, and endless universe. So there is the study of all these things where we can observe these all things and we can study about their structure and extent. So the study of stars, planets, celestial bodies and galaxies with the help of appropriate instrument is known as space observation. Okay, so for observing the space, a proper instrument, a proper technique is to be used. So that can be done in the space observation. Then the space observation gives us the idea about the stars, comets, and planets and other celestial bodies around the earth. Okay, what is the use of this space observation? If we do the observation of the space with the help of certain equipment, then we come to know about the stars, the comets, the planets, and the other celestial bodies which are around the earth. Okay, so these objects which are around the earth can be only studied under the space observation with the help of proper equipment. Then it is only because of the space observation that we have learned about the infinite extent of the universe. Okay, how much is the universe or what is the limit of the universe that can be seen only with the help of the proper instrument under the space observation. So man tried to observe the sky with his naked eye. With time, he noticed that the position of the stars changed with time. Okay, as from the early days, man was having the curiosity of observing the sky. So he noticed that the position of the stars change with time. Okay, the stars are changing their position with time, and this made him to think that this change has an impact on seasons and in turn on agriculture. Okay, as the time passes, the stars change their position, and this change in the position of the stars has an impact on season, and this impact on season results into a change in turn on agriculture. Means they all are interrelated to each other. If you know, if we consider a agrarian country like India, so here people are mostly engaged in doing the agriculture, and their main source of water what they can provide to the farms, that is through the monsoon. You know? So there is a need of studying about the seasons. Okay, so this thing can be learned, can be understood if we observe the sky with the help of proper instrument. If we study it, if we study the space, then only we can come to know about the weather changes, about the agriculture. Okay, so also the position of constellations was important for navigation through seas. Okay, in earlier days when there was no any technology, at that time the seagoers, those people who travel in sea, they used to change their direction. They used to come to know about the navigation, how to do the navigation, so that all things was being possible with the help of by seeing the position of the constellations. Okay, nowadays we are having the advanced technology, okay, by which we come to know the directions and everything. But in ancient time, when there was no any technology, at that time man used to observe the position of the constellations, and that was being very helpful for him for navigation. Okay. Thus, man began to observe the sky with more efforts, but in earlier days he did not have any equipment to get a closer view of stars and planets in the sky. He was very excited to watch the sky. It was being need and it was being important in his life to observe the sky, but he was not having any equipment to get a closer view of the stars and the planets in the sky. Okay, so man began to find the answers to his questions. Okay, because that was being needed, but he was not having any technique, he was not having any instrument by which he can get the closer view of the sky. So man began to find the answers to his questions. Okay, so this difficulty was then solved by some great scientist. So the very first person in 1608, a spectacle maker, Hans Lippershey, discovered that seeing through two lenses kept one behind the other seems to bring the object closer. Okay, can you see here the picture? Okay, this was the instrument which was being firstly introduced in 1608 by a spectacle maker. Okay, what he said that when we arrange the two lenses, one behind the other, then you can seem to bring the object closer to us. Okay, means we can get a closer view of the object if we arrange the two lenses in such a manner that the two lenses are arranged one behind the other, then that can bring the closer view of that object. Okay, so the very first person, that is Hans Lippershey in 1608. Then in 1609, the great scientist Galileo made a telescope and used it for space observation. Okay, then after Hans Lippershey in 1609, the great scientist Galileo Galilei, he made a telescope and that was being used for the space observation. Okay, then using his telescopes, he realized that there are many more stars than what could be seen with the naked eyes. Okay, with our naked eyes, we can see some stars in the sky. Okay, but if we use the telescope which was being made by Galilei, what he said that when we use this telescope and when we observe the sky, then you will find that there are many more stars than what we can see with our naked eyes. Okay, also using his telescope, he discovered the moons of Jupiter and the black spots on the sun. Okay, the moon of the Jupiter was a great discovery which was done by using the telescope of Galileo. Okay, also the black spot on the sun came to know just by using the telescope of Galileo. So that was a great contribution by Galileo Galilei. With the help of his telescope, many achievements are done in the field of astronomy. Okay, now after 400 years after Galileo's telescope invention, man has made a tremendous progress in the use of telescope technology. Okay, now when there was no any equipment at that time, Galileo introduced the telescope. Okay, but now after 400 years after Galileo's telescope, there are many more advanced features or advanced telescopes are being discovered, okay, to observe the space. Then what do you mean by light? Do you know what is light? Light is an electromagnetic wave. Okay, what is light? Light is an electromagnetic wave, and every wave has a characteristic wavelength. Okay, what is light? Light is a electromagnetic wave. Now you can see here the picture of a wave. Okay, the light travels in the form of a wave. Okay, you have seen the waves of the sea. Then it is like that, that light is also a type of a wave, but it is an electromagnetic wave. Okay, then if you see this wave, it is having the upper portion, which is called as the crest, and the lower portion, that is called as a trough. Okay, light travels in the form of a wave. This wave is made up of crust and troughs. Okay, then what do you mean by wavelength? Wavelength is the distance between two consecutive crusts or two consecutive troughs. Are you getting? Okay, what is wavelength? Wavelength is the distance between two consecutive crusts. Okay, the two consecutive means those who are very adjacent, those who are very near. So the distance between the two consecutive crusts or two consecutive troughs, it is called as wavelength. Okay, then what do you mean by amplitude? Amplitude is the maximum distance which is traveled by the wave from its mean position. This was the mean position. From here, how long, how much the wave has traveled its maximum distance, that is called as amplitude. Okay, so hereafter I hope that you will be able to understand that what is light. Light is an electromagnetic wave. Okay, and every wave has its own characteristic wavelength. Okay, so wavelength is what? It is the distance between two adjacent crusts or two adjacent troughs. Okay, then so which light can we see? Our eyes can see only that light which has a wavelength between 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer. Such light, it is called as visible radiation. Okay, what? We cannot see all types of radiation. Our eyes are only capable of seeing that light which has a wavelength between 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer. Now what do you mean by nanometer? Nanometer is the unit which is being used to count the wavelength of light. Okay, so 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meters. Okay, this is the relationship between 1 nanometer and meter. What? 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meters. Okay, similarly, there is one more unit that is called as picometer. Then what is picometer? Picometer is 1 picometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 12 meters. Okay, what? 1 picometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 12 meters. Okay, then there are electromagnetic waves of wavelengths other than the visible ones, most of which we cannot see as our eyes are not sensitive to them. Okay, there are many more radiations which come on earth, but we are not able to see all these types of radiations. Why we cannot see? Because our eyes are only capable of seeing those radiations which are having a wavelength of about 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer only. Okay, then which are these different types of radiations? Let us see. So there are different types of radiations. Okay, let us see one by one. The first one, that is called as the radio waves. These radio waves are longer than 20 centimeter. Okay, how they are? They are having the wavelength which is longer than 20 centimeter. These are called as the radio waves. Okay, then what are microwaves? Microwaves have a wavelength starting from 0.3 millimeter to 20 centimeter. Okay, what are microwaves? They are having the wavelength of 0.3 millimeter to 20 centimeter. Then there are the infrared waves. What are infrared waves? These infrared waves have a wavelength of 800 nanometer to 0.3 millimeters. Okay, what are infrared waves? These are the waves which are having the wavelength of about 800 nanometer to 0.3 millimeter. Okay, then there are visible radiations. Okay, the visible light rays which we can see. So what is the wavelength? That wavelength is about 400 nanometer to 800 nanometer. Okay, then there are the ultraviolet rays, the UV rays. Okay, the ultraviolet rays are having the wavelength of about 300 picometer to 400 nanometer. Okay, what is the wavelength for ultraviolet rays? It is 300 picometer to 400 nanometers. Then there are the X-rays. You might be very known to this word X-rays. But can you see these rays? No, because these X-rays are having a wavelength of about 3 picometer to 300 picometer. Okay, what is the wavelength? It is 3 picometer to 300 picometer. And then there are the gamma rays. These gamma rays are shorter than 3 picometer. Okay, they are shorter than 3 picometer. So these are the different types of radiations. So how many types of radiations are there? There are 7 types of radiations. Okay, which are they? Radio waves, microwaves, infrared waves, visible light rays, ultraviolet rays, X-rays and gamma rays. Okay. Then out of these different forms of radiations, our eyes are only capable of seeing the visible radiations. Thus, the visible radiation telescope, that is optical telescopes, are made for regular lenses, from regular lenses or mirrors is used to see the visible radiations coming from the space. Okay, as we know that there are different types of radiations, but we can see only the visible light radiations. Okay, so for seeing these visible rays, there is a need of using certain optical telescopes which are able to, which are made up of lenses or mirrors, with the help of which we can see these visible radiations. Okay, so let us see what are optical telescopes. Optical telescopes. Now you can see the picture of the optical telescope. Okay, in this picture you can see that there are 2 or more lenses which are being used in making of a optical telescope. Okay, how they are being made? In optical telescopes, there are 2 or more lenses. Optical telescopes are made with the help of 2 or more lenses. Okay, then to collect the maximum amount of light